Many people lived in a town called Jericho. One of them was a rich man named Zacchaeus. He had a big house and a big yard and lots of money. Zacchaeus was a rich man because of his job. He collected taxes from the people for the Roman leaders. However, Zacchaeus always took a little extra money from the people and kept it for himself. The people did not like Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus saw a crowd of people gathering along the side of the road and heard someone say, "Jesus is coming." "Jesus?" thought Zacchaeus. "Who's Jesus? He must be an important person. I want to meet him too." So Zacchaeus wanted to see Jesus, but he had a little problem. Zacchaeus was short, too short to see Jesus from the back of the crowd. He needed to be in front of the taller people, but he knew they didn't like him. "They'll never let me in front," he thought. Then Zacchaeus had an idea. He found a tree next to the road where Jesus would walk. The tree was just the right size for Zacchaeus. So Zacchaeus climbed the tree, and he could see everything. He could see the road, and he could see the crowd, and he could even see Jesus. Zacchaeus got excited. Step by step, Jesus came closer and closer until he was right under Zacchaeus. Suddenly, Jesus stopped. He looked up and saw Zacchaeus sitting in the tree. Uh-oh! Was Zacchaeus in trouble? Maybe Jesus didn't like Zacchaeus either. Jesus started to talk to Zacchaeus. "Zacchaeus, come down from that tree. I want to have dinner with you at your house today." "What?" thought Zacchaeus. "Jesus wants to come to my house?" Quickly, Zacchaeus climbed down the tree. "This way, Zacchaeus." "This way," Jesus said, "Zacchaeus. This is the way to my house." The crowd grumbled. They were upset. Someone yelled, "How could Jesus go to Zacchaeus' house?" "Zacchaeus is a bad man," yelled another. But Jesus didn't hate Zacchaeus. He went to Zacchaeus' house. While they were eating dinner, Jesus told Zacchaeus, "God wants everyone to be part of God's family and care for others." Zacchaeus listened closely. Jesus cared for Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus could care for others. He knew just what to do. Zacchaeus told Jesus, "I will give back all the extra money I took from the people. I will even give back more than I took." Zacchaeus met Jesus and changed forever. He cared about others. Good morning again. Today we're going to learn about someone who does not have sight to see and how Jesus helped that person. It's called blind Bartimaeus. "Please help me," Bartimaeus shouted. In Jesus' time, blind people had to beg for money. Kind people gave Bartimaeus money. Thank you, he said. One day, Jesus came along the road. "Please help me," Bartimaeus shouted. "I will," said Jesus. Now blind Bartimaeus is not blind. He sees Jesus smiling at him. Thank you, he whispers. Today we have another story about my favorite family, the Berenstain Bears. And today the Berenstain Bears go to Sunday school. Sunday morning was a busy time in the big tree house down the sunny dirt road deep in bear country. The Bear family had things to do and places to go. Brother had soccer practice at 10:30 and sister had ballet lessons at 11. Usually Mama dropped them off before taking Honey Bear along to do some grocery shopping. Papa Bear stayed at home to get fix-up things done early so he could watch football in the afternoon. But it wasn't always as it been that way for the Bear family. A few years back, before they'd gotten involved with so many activities, the Bear family had gone every Sunday morning to services at Chapel in the Woods. Of course, that meant brother and sister went to Sunday school. Mama Bear missed those days. It seemed to her that the family was a lot closer back then. Going to the Chapel in the Woods was kind of a glue that held the whole family together. Mama decided it was time for a little family conference. They all gathered in the living room one Saturday night, and she told them what was on her mind. Glue, said Sister, puzzled. You mean when you got glued like the lamp back together after we broke it? That's a very good example, said Papa. The lamp gave us light. We glued it back together so we wouldn't be left in the dark. Worshiping God gives us light and warmth, too, and our family needs a little glue from time to time to keep it together. Sister and brother thought it over. It made sense. Well, sort of. Besides, said Mama, I believe it's going to church together is important than all of our other Sunday morning activities combined. More important than soccer? Guessed brother. Or ballet? Said Sister. Yes, Mama nodded. But don't get too excited. We'll go to the early service at 8:30. That way you'll have plenty of time to get to your soccer and ballet. 8:30 in the morning, cried brother and sister, ever more upset. That means we have to get up at 7 o'clock on the weekend. Now, said Papa. He prided himself on always getting up early to bed, and the first to get up makes a bear healthy and wealthy, and or how does that go? Sleepy, said brother. At breakfast the next morning, the Bear family did seem sleepy indeed. At least brother and sister did. They could hardly keep their eyes open. Papa wasn't exactly all there either. He was almost invisible behind his Sunday paper. Coffee, dear? Said Mama, lifting up the coffee pot. Groaned Papa, holding up his cup without looking up. Said Mama. Huh? What? Asked Papa, looking up. Oh, sorry, my dear, he said, folding the paper. I guess I'm not really awake until I've had my morning coffee. Mama got her purse and put on her best Sunday hat. They climbed down the front steps, and Papa put Honey Bear in her stroller, and the whole family headed down the road to the Chapel in the Woods. Other families joined them as they walked along. There were their neighbors, Farmer and Mrs. Ben. They saw Uncle Willie and Aunt Min and Cousin Fred from down the street. They even ran into Too Tall Grizzly, being hauled along by his parents, 2 Ton and 2 Grizzly. The Chapel in the Woods was nestled in a pretty little glen down by the creek. On the fresh spring morning, the dogwoods were in bloom. Papa began to hum a tune. Then he started to sing. Come to the church in the wildwood. Oh, come to the church in the vale. Mama joined in. No spot is so dear to my childhood. They finished together. As the little brown church in the vale. What weird song is that? Asked Sister. Oh, it's just something we used to sing in church together when we were children, sighed Mama. That was a long time ago. Did you know each other way back then? Asked brother. Know each other, laughed Papa. Why, I was sweet on your mother when we were only 8 years old, and she was the cutest cub in the whole Sunday school. Once I brought a frog into the class. I was going to let it loose during the story of the plagues of Egypt, but I decided it would be funnier to slip it down Mama's back. It was too. Brother and sister's eyes widened, imagining the scene. Wow, they breathed softly. They dropped off Honey Bear at the church nursery and filed quietly into the chapel. There was a soft music playing of the organ, and they found a pew. Then Preacher Brown climbed into the pulpit, and the service began. Now, dear, said Mama, let's not give the children any bright ideas. Welcome, friends, said the preacher. Let's join together in worship. Let us give thanks for this day the Lord has made. They all rose to sing, Come to the church in the wildwood, sang by the whole congregation. Oh, come to the church in the vale. How about that, whispered brother to sister. They're still singing that same old song. Brother and sister joined the other cubs as they trooped out of the chapel under the watchful eye of Preacher Brown. After the hymn and more prayer, even more organ music, some bell ringing, it was time for Sunday school. Old Miss Ursula Brinsky was the Sunday school teacher. Brother and sister wondered how old she was, and she looked old enough to have been Mama and Papa's Sunday school teacher. Good morning, children, she asked with a big smile. Today we're going to learn about the story of Noah's Ark. She turned around at them brightly. Do any of you young ones know the story of Noah's Ark? Cousin Fred, who read the dictionary for fun, raised his hand. Excellent, Fred, said Mrs. Ursula. Why don't you tell us the story? So Cousin Fred told the story of Noah's Ark. Long, long ago, God saw that the people of the earth had become wicked. But Noah was a just man, and he walked with God. So God told Noah to build a great boat, an ark. God was going to bring a terrible flood among the earth. And God told Noah to bring 2 of every sort of creature, male and female, into the ark. So Noah built the ark, gathered the animals, and went into it with his family. Brother Bear interrupted. Do you think they brought frogs into the ark? He asked. Miss Ursula laughed. Well, I'm sure that Noah brought frogs into the ark, Brother Bear, she said, her eyes twinkling. But if you think you're going to bring a frog into this classroom the way your father did, young man, you've got another thing coming. Brother's mouth dropped wide open. Miss Ursula really was old enough to have been Mama and Papa's Sunday school teacher. Cousin Fred went on with the story. When it began to rain, it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. The earth was covered with the flood, and all the things, except for those on the ark, died. After many months, Noah set forth a dove. The dove came back carrying an olive leaf. Noah knew that the flood had passed. He let all the animals out. Then God set a rainbow in the sky and promised Noah he would never cover all of the earth with water again. The cubs all sighed. They were thinking back to the last big thunderstorm they had when the river went up over its banks and washed out the bridge. There had been a beautiful rainbow after that storm, too. All right, cubs, said Miss Ursula. Let's see if you can draw pictures of the story of Noah's Ark. There were crayons and paper on the tables, so the cubs set busily to work. Sister drew a beautiful picture of the ark resting on the mountaintop. Brother drew a dramatic scene of rain pouring down with bolts of lightning and the ark tossing on the waves. Chutaw drew a picture of all the animals sticking their heads out of the ark, yelling, "Phew!" Now too tall, said Ursula. I don't think that's very appropriate. But Sister noticed her smiling just the same when she thought none of the cubs were looking. Then Sunday school was over. Goodbye, cubs, called Miss Ursula. See you all next Sunday. The cubs ran outside, shouting and jumping and sitting after sitting still for so long. The grown-ups were coming out of the chapel. Preacher Brown was shaking hands with everyone, and folks were laughing and talking together. There, said Mama as they headed for home. That wasn't too bad, was it? No, said Sister. In fact, it was kind of interesting. Yeah, said Brother, running out ahead. And now soccer, and ballet, added Sister, and football, added Papa. And Mama rolled her eyes. Sister began to hum. They softly, come to the church in the wildwood, oh come to the church in the vale. Papa began to sing along in rhythm, oh come, come, come. And everyone joined in. No spot is so dear to my childhood as the little brown church in the vale. Yay, shouted Honey Bear, waiting to join in too, and they all gave her a round of applause.
All right.
See you next week.